Welcome to the weekend edition of the Fast Five by Fear and Greed. I'm Michael Thompson, and hello, Adam Lang.
Hello, Michael.
Adam, on weekdays, it is all about the Fast Five, the top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. On the weekend, we, of course, still keep it to 5 minutes because it wouldn't be the Fast Five without it. But we are going to pick out the biggest story of the week, our favourite story, the sleeper story, which is one that's kind of trying to fly under the radar, perhaps, or going to be a bigger story down the track. And then we'll also pick out the most remarkable story of the week. So let's get into it with the biggest story of the week. I will just make one little rule around this, though, that I think we would both agree that the budget was the biggest business story of the week, but it's going to be boring if we just agree on everything. So we'll just say, all right, take it as read that the budget was the biggest story of the week. What was the next biggest business story of the week for you, Adam?
All right, my selection for biggest story came early in the week, although it has been boiling away for some time. In October last year, New South Wales began a Royal Commission-style inquiry into the operator of the Star Casino in Sydney. Now, we have had days and days of inquiry testimony from Star employees, from bank officials, gamblers, alleging the Star Entertainment Group sought to circumvent money laundering and cash transaction controls. It has been salacious. We have even heard of the CEO, Matt Bakir, reacting badly to a KPMG audit report. And on Monday, Matt Bakir resigned as CEO. This story is still going and there may be more to come, but the resignation of a casino CEO amongst such salacious and continuing revelations is a huge story.
Yeah, it is a big story, actually. The biggest story for me was more of an international one. And like you, it came earlier in the week. It's big because of the international implications. US President Joe Biden ad-libbed in a speech in Poland. He was talking about Russia and Ukraine, obviously, but he said about Putin, he said, "For God's sake, this man cannot remain in power." And pretty much as soon as he said it, the White House was trying to clarify that he wasn't calling for regime change. It just meant that Putin couldn't exert power over his neighbours. Even the German Chancellor had to clarify that NATO wasn't pursuing regime change. But you do just have to wonder if Joe Biden let his true feelings show. In doing so, unfortunately, Putin got a pretty handy propaganda tool to use within Russia. But while we're on the subject of Ukraine, I'm kind of actually putting two stories into one. We saw Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky address our own federal parliament this week. He's done it in a bunch of countries around the world, obviously remotely. He's spoken to the US, UK, Canada, Germany. Now it's our turn. Warned of the evil of Russia spreading and called for more support. This is a man who was a comedian, has become a wartime leader, and isn't he doing an extraordinary job?
Oh, Michael, I agree. He is actually bringing much of the world along with him and the Ukraine in this story.
Yeah. Well, look, I think both big stories. Let's move on to the most remarkable story of the week. Can I nominate one for this one?
Yes. What have you got, Michael?
Well, I love stories about crypto, and they don't get much more remarkable than this. Last week, hackers made off with about $540 million of crypto from a blockchain project called Ronin. It's linked to an online game called Axie Infinity, where you earn crypto as you play. Anyway, somehow hackers managed to get 5 of the digital keys they needed to steal the crypto, which is still in the hacker's digital wallet at the moment. But this is why the story is so remarkable. Not just because of the size of the theft, but because the theft has actually gotten bigger after the fact. The value of crypto has risen since it took place. So the stolen currency has increased from $540 million to more than $625 million. Isn't that remarkable?
Oh, it is. A crypto heist of that scale is remarkable. I think you get that one.
All right, shall we move on to the sleeper story? So one that's probably not necessarily getting the attention that it deserves. We're going to give it a bit of attention now. What did you pick?
Michael, for me, it's the strong economic story, but it's being lost amongst the huge number of exceptions at the moment. So what I'm talking about is COVID, the Russian war on Ukraine, geopolitical tensions, including the rise and disposition of China. And this week, we also had the federal budget noise on top of all of that. But in this time, we've seen retail spending go up. So February was up 9% on last year. Housing approvals are up. Household wealth this week reported up 4.5% to a record high of $14.7 trillion. All of those, alongside low unemployment, low inflation, low interest rates, all suggest the economy is going very well. And of course, that will translate probably to more pressure on the RBA to increase rates. But amongst all this what it says, and I don't think it is being covered, so he's therefore a sleeper, is that we've never had it so good. But as always, that economic good can be felt very differently by everyone across the country.
Yeah, I think you are right. Normally, I wouldn't agree that the economy is a sleeper story, but there's been so much noise because of the budget and everything else that some of those individual stories have actually been lost a little bit amongst all the noise. Look, the favourite story this week, my favourite story, and I'll see if you agree, made a slightly unusual choice this week. Normally I'd go for something scandalous, but today I'm going for the exact opposite of scandalous, and that's why I've chosen it. Telstra CEO Andy Penn announced this week that he's retiring later this year, and that's really it. There was no scandal, no international recruitment, no speculation about his job really, just a smooth, ordered transition to an internal promotion. CFO Vicky Brady. And when you consider how important Telstra is to so many investors, it's got 1.2 million shareholders, it is obvious how vital a smooth transition is. Now, Andy Penn's time at Telstra has been pretty fascinating. He's had to modernise what is a massive organisation, improve customer service, cut a huge amount of costs out of the business, which unfortunately has meant a lot of jobs have been cut and the share price hasn't always been kind, but he appears to be leaving the organisation stronger, and clearly he's done something very right if the succession planning is so good that the CFO can step up when he goes. And also, isn't it terrific to see the two biggest telcos in Australia, Telstra and Optus, both being led by female executives?
Michael, actually, I think it's a great credit to both organisations on how these transitions and succession plans have been executed. I think you're right. I think it's a terrific story and a great favourite. Can I, just for the sake of amusement, if nothing else, throw in one more? Our favourite firebrand billionaire Elon Musk has accused the US Securities and Exchange Commission of restricting his free speech. In fact, in court this week, his lawyer cited lyrics from rapper Eminem's 2002 masterpiece with Dr. Dre, Without Me, in his written submission. Elon Musk channeling Dr. Dre and Eminem in court. That's my favourite mention for the week.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good. It kind of ticks all the boxes. Billionaires, rappers, court.
The FCC won't let me be.
I would love to hear you rap some more, but we are out of time.
No one needs that.
No, we don't. There we go, 5 minutes and pretty much everything you need to know in the world of business. Thank you very much, Adam.
Thank you, Michael.
We'll be back on Monday morning with the top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and this is the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed.